Senator, it's good to see you again. We've got new developments coming in. So student protesters at Columbia University in New York and now Portland State University, they have taken over campus buildings, barricading themselves in. They're not stopping even after threats of being suspended and expelled. Campuses have been shut down. We're talking protests escalating, 1,100 arrested so far. There are protests now spreading to 23 states. What do you think, sir?
Well, Elizabeth, this didn't just start last week. This started decades ago. The radical left infiltrating our university system, graduating, for example, not journalists by and large anymore, but advocates for the left, not as many teachers as they used to, but indoctrinators of the left, lawyers who want to become activist judges. The radical left has infiltrated every institution of this country, and it's showing. And so these young people, they have been indoctrinated. Their minds have been poisoned to the extent that they are now supporting the butchers of Hamas. It's quite jaw-dropping, but now we're also finding out, it's being revealed that this effort is being funded by things like the Soros Foundation, the Rockefeller Foundation. Again, these are foundations that have been around that have been funding, for example, the DAs that will not prosecute real crimes, like the DA in New York, but they'll go after partisan witch hunts like they're doing with President Trump. So again, this is the radical left taking over our institutions, and it's just being revealed last week on our college campuses with the support for Hamas.
Yeah, it's also this poisonous indoctrination of DEI. You know, let's listen to Senator Ted Cruz on this, and let's also listen to, you're going to hear from Harvard emeritus, he's Larry Summers. He worked in the Obama and Clinton White Houses. Watch this.
I think just as anybody on a university campus, when they get funding from the outside for their activities, is expected to be accountable, I think there need to be close investigations of how these protest efforts are being funded.
Copycat tents have been seen at Harvard, at Yale, at Berkeley, at Ohio State, at Emory, and they're organized by branches of the Students for Justice in Palestine, SJP, funded by George Soros. Those paid radicals are called, quote, fellows of a Soros-funded group called the U.S. Campaign for Palestinian Rights.
Okay, so we've gotten reports, $6.8 billion came into U.S. universities, billions of dollars from Qatar and Saudi Arabia. What do you make of who is funding them? I mean, this is right as we're hearing out of the Committee for a Responsible Budget that Biden is going to cancel more than $1 trillion in student loan debt. That's unfair to those who paid their loans and those who did not go to college.
Again, this didn't just happen last week. This has been brewing for decades. Now, this all springs from Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radical, Bernardine Dohrn, Bill Ayers, who mentored Barack Obama, who, when he became president, 5 days before he became president, he said, in 5 days, we're going to fundamentally transform America. And that's exactly what he did. He introduced DEI, destroying our CIA if it wasn't already destroyed before that. There's an excellent book, Big Intel, by J. Michael Waller. I'd highly recommend it to all your viewers. It stitches all of this together, shows this decades-long march toward what we're seeing here today.
Okay, so today, House Speaker Michael Johnson announced he's going to put the firepower of 7 House committees, including Oversight, Ways and Means, and Education, to look at revoking federal tax breaks, revoking federal funding, and revoking visas for foreign students. Education Secretary Cardona says no Biden officials, no civil rights officials are at these schools doing anything about this. So they're not doing anything. Columbia got hit with a class action lawsuit. This is the issue. Where are the civil rights actions? I mean, student protesters, they have no free speech rights to occupy any property indefinitely. The First Amendment only covers government actors, not colleges. They're in the middle of finals. So where are the protests against Iran? And as you point out, Hamas's brutality and literally executions of people. Where are the protests to release the hostages and for peace?
Well, of course, you have to understand that most of the college administrators, by and large, support what these protesters are protesting. They maybe don't like their tactics. They maybe don't like the fact the heat's being turned up on them. That some of their donors might be getting a little skittish about this. But these protests are occurring in blue districts, blue states. They're supported by and large by the college administrators. Again, that is the rot, the radical leftist rot that is infiltrated our universities and all of our institutions.
And you know, UT Austin school administrators say the majority of the protesters are not affiliated with the school at all. So why isn't the Biden White House and the FBI looking at potential domestic terrorism and outside actors pouring into these campuses?
Because it's the Biden White House and it's an FBI that has become highly partisan, tending toward the left, or firmly in the left. Again, look at what happened with Crossfire Hurricane. Look at all the partisan actions undertaken by the FBI, the Department of Justice. These institutions cannot be trusted anymore because they are infiltrated by the radical left.
Senator Ron Johnson, thanks for joining us. It's good to see you.